Hey guys, Sean C. Phillips here on that brand new DVD Blu-ray Tuesday shopping video today. Taking a go out today, see what things came out, see what things are on sale. I know today though the two big releases that come out are Hellfest as well as Jonah Hill's film that he directed mid-90s. Also though, I'm going to have a little thing, cool promo item that I'm going to show you guys at the end of this video in the review portion for mid-90s. A really cool thing for that one. There is one thing though coming out today I'm going to try and find. It looks like it should be at Walmart, so hopefully they put that one out. It looks like that's going to probably be the only place that has that one. Also though, the end of this video is going to be a whole bunch of brand new DVD and Blu-ray reviews that I received a review and talk about for you guys. Some really cool stuff like the Waterworld 3-disc limited edition set from Arrow Video, as well as a new release from Scream Factory of a movie called 10 to Midnight, and the new Halloween film. We'll be talking about that one, as well as a whole bunch of other new DVD and Blu-ray reviews. So definitely, like I said, stay tuned for those at the end of this video. And in the comments below as well, let me know, what you guys thought of the titles I reviewed, if you guys have seen any of them, what you guys thought of them, and all that kind of stuff. But anyway though, guys, let's get going and see what we can find today. Into Walmart we go. Yeah, I'm in here first today, because I have a feeling like this is the place that has the most chance of having the one thing I'm trying to find, but, fingers crossed, it's put out in here already, because I'm a little earlier, so I'm hoping it's out. But let's see what's in here today. Like I said, the big thing that came out today was Hellfest, and their 4K one here for that one is $24.96. I talked about this one in my video last Tuesday. I really liked this one a lot. I thought this was a really fun movie about people going to this haunted attraction kind of theme park type thing. One of those kind of like, something like Universal Horror Nights and those kind of things. And of course there's like a killer in there who put on this mask and he's like stalking these kids and everything. But I really liked that one. I thought that was a really cool movie. Now this is really cool. I saw this on eBay. People are already like selling this. There's only one of these in here, and I don't think this came out until now. I don't know though, because I never saw this. But this is like a Venom exclusive, and it has this Venom, old school kind of action figure in here. This is actually really cool. That one is $27.96, but I didn't see that on the actual Tuesday that this one had released, so I don't know if that one just came out now. Like I said, I saw some pictures online and people putting it up on eBay already. The other thing in here, I think this may have been today, this one here called Legendary Beasts, this BBC one. And mid-90s, they have this edition here. Oh no, I thought this was like an edition of some kind of a case, but no, it's just like in a weird case with these stickers stuck on it. But I only see the DVD of that one here. Also, this movie released today here called The Oath, which is directed by Ike Barinholtz and stars Ike Barinholtz as well as Tiffany Haddish. And this one is another one. I highly recommend you guys check this one out. This one only released on DVD, but this is where you have to like set in an alternate universe where you have to like pledge your oath to the president and like do everything he says and everything, and if you don't, there's a lot of problems, and it's all set on Thanksgiving and everything, and all together for the family. And Ike Barinholtz's character doesn't want to pledge and sign this document, and these people show up and it's arguments with the family, but really great dark comedy, kind of in the style of like something like Very Bad Things. And I believe this was today, this Ron Perlman movie called Asher. I think it was like him as like a hitman or something like that, but I'm pretty sure this was one of the ones today, as well as Dragon Ball Z Super. I believe that one is another one released today, as well as the Great Battle. But the one thing that I did want to get today, and I see it over here, so if you guys are looking for it, they put it over here in this section. But this thing, I was kind of surprised that they got this. I ended up ordering the Blu-ray of this because I wasn't sure if I was going to see this in stores. But this is an evening with Beverly Luff, Linn, and it stars Aubrey Plaza. It's from the director who did The Greasy Strangler, which I loved. The trailer for this one looked totally crazy. So I ordered the Blu-ray of that one on Amazon. But the one thing, though, that I was going to get was this movie here called The Car Unrated. It's like a direct-to-video movie. I'm sure it's not going to be amazing or anything, but I like this 70s movie. This is like a direct-to-video sequel to that, so I'm definitely going to pick this one up. This is one of those ones that's only on DVD. I feel like down the line there might be like a manufacturer on demand Blu-ray of this maybe or something. I'm not sure, but I'm definitely going to get that one. And this one here, I think this might have came out today. This one here called Cold Skin. I don't know what this one is about. I'm going to have to read about this. I saw the cover to this one a while back online. I think it was originally like at Redbox or something. It's like a Redbox exclusive. And it's another one that was today. This one called The Last Boy. I don't know much about this one. I have to read what this one is as well. And I think this may have been today, Monsters of Men. And it's another one I liked that released today. There's also a Blu-ray of this called Time Freak, about these two kids going back in time because Asa Butterfield's character got in this terrible breakup with Sophie Turner's character, and he wants to try and fix it. So he's going back in time with his time machine to all these different times in their life to try and figure out how he's going to make it so the breakup doesn't happen. But really, really fun movie. And the last one that looks like it's new here is What They Had. I believe this one was today as well. But yeah, there's definitely actually a lot of different stuff in here. And like I said, they seem to put some of the new things in this section right over here, because right over there is where they usually, the first Tuesday of the month, change out to some more obscure and indie horror and stuff. But over here, though, there seems like they're putting some new releases as well lately. And there actually is two other things that came out today TV-wise. The Purge, the complete first season here, that one's $24.96. There's a Blu-ray of that one as well. I don't see that one here. I didn't actually see any of this when it was on. If you guys have seen the show, though, let me know how this was. I liked all the Purge films, though, and also Castle Rock, which was a pretty interesting series. It's characters from Stephen King novels and all kind of put together, sort of, a little bit, and locations and everything. And there's also a Blu-ray and a 4K of that one as well. Yeah, but in there, though, I ended up getting the car one, like I said, Road to Vengeance, and that, as well as that Cold Skin one, because I was pretty sure I remember that one was some kind of an exclusive, I remember at one point, to Redbox or something. That's where I remember originally seeing it advertised. But it's funny, when it comes to these direct-to-video releases, there's two other ones I saw coming out next month I had no idea were being made. There's gonna be a Benchwarmers 2, I think starring Chris Pine, and then there was a direct-to-video sequel to Daddy Daycare. I think there was Daddy Daycare, then there was Daddy Day Camp. This one's called Grandpa Daycare or Gramps Day Camp or something like that. It's Grandpa's watching the kid or something, but I had no clue those ones were being made at all. But if you guys have seen either of these ones, though, let me know in the comments below how these ones were. Hopefully they're, decent. Into the Valley Thrift we go. I don't think I've been in here too. It's been a while. It's been I think maybe a month and a half or so, something like that. So it's definitely been quite a while. So yeah, there's always huge amounts of people over here looking at stuff. But yeah, see, it's a lot of people, but have to make a space and try and look through here. There's a lot of stuff on the bottom and everything. So we'll see, what new stuff they got in here today, though. Yeah, well, like I said, just going to kind of look through all this stuff and see anything different. Here's a bunch of Blu-rays over here. They definitely, though, got in a bunch of new stuff. I always love this movie, Dirty Work. That's just such a funny, ridiculous movie. I always love that other Norah Donald movie, Screwed, but you don't hear about that one as often. Hopefully, Screwed, that one gets a Blu-ray release down the line. I did see one kind of obscure thing to see in here, Little Monsters. I already have this one, but if there's not much of a line, I might get this to have a second copy of this. I've heard, though, there's supposed to be a Blu-ray of that coming out some point down the line, I think, from Shout Factory, but I'm not 100% sure, but I'm pretty sure I heard somebody mention something about that one in the past. I have to always pay attention, because a lot of times I end up missing out-of-print things in here, because they definitely have, I've in the past found a couple of random, pretty obscure stuff in here. But like I said, I'm just going to pretty much look through all this and see what we can find. I actually found some stuff in here. I got two things that I already had, but I as backups because they're really obscure to come across for only $2. This one, though, I've never seen, though. This Jack Lemmon, Walter Matthau film, Fortune Cookie. I think it's directed by Billy Wilder, who did Some Like It Hot. And this movie, Bushwhacked, starring Daniel Stern. This one's pretty obscure to come across, especially this edition, because it has a widescreen and full screen, and Little Monsters. But Little Monsters and Bushwhacked were one of those movies where I feel like I watched them at least probably I don't know, a year, at least once or twice. I love that movie. These are two movies that I absolutely love, especially Bushwhacked. I've watched that movie throughout my life so many times. It's probably one of my favorite Daniel Stern ones to watch, where he was the star of it. But just a fun, ridiculous movie. But cool to find these ones, like I said, for only $2 each. Especially since they're really obscure and you don't see them too much as backups of them, as well. But cool. So they definitely did have some different stuff. They had a couple other out-of-print stuff in there, but nothing really that I was that interested in, though. And this past weekend, I saw a couple different films. The first one I saw was Escape Room, which is one I was really looking forward to seeing. I thought the trailers for it looked really cool. And essentially, though, it was about a group of these people who got sent these kind of cubes, to inviting them to go to this new escape room that was supposed to be one of the ones that was one of the most complicated ones, impossible to solve and get out of. And if you ended up, solving it and escaping from the escape room, you ended up getting $10,000. So it was like, group of all these different people who kind of came together to, to this place. And of course, though, right when they get to this escape room, they, find out that the place actually, the rooms, they actually could die in it. And it's essentially them, either they figure out how to get out of the rooms or they end up dying in them. I actually really like the movie a lot. It's kind of got vibes of the film Cube mixed with like, sort of aspects, a little bit of Saw kind of stuff, the stuff that they go through and everything. But I really, really like that one a lot. Highly recommend you guys check that one out. The other one that I saw was If Beale Street Could Talk. Regina King, who, is one of the co-stars of the film, she ended up, winning the Golden Globe for supporting actress in the film. It was funny too, like when I was watching it, I'm like, I knew, because I knew going into it that she was nominated, and after it was over, I'm like, yep, I can guarantee she's going to win. She did an amazing performance in the movie. But essentially, though, it was based on a book. I think the book was from the 70s, and it was about this couple who were, who were kind of getting ready to get married, and the boyfriend ended up getting accused of this of something and ended up getting arrested. And you find out more throughout the movie what had happened and everything, but he ended up getting accused of something that he did not do. It was essentially about, her family and his family trying to figure out how they're going to get him out of prison and all the things that they were going through. It was like the love story, and it cut back and forth too to how both of them had met, and it was just a really, really well done character piece film. So, super well acted and everything. Really, really like that one. Another one, is directed by Barry Jenkins, who directed Moonlight, which I really like that one as well. That one won for, Best Picture. I believe that was last year or the year before. I think it might have been the year before. But, highly recommend you guys check that one out as well. In the comments below, too, let me know if you guys saw either of those ones or what films you guys saw this past week, and if you guys got to see anything. Into Best Buy we go. And those wondering, though, I did go to Target as well, but they didn't have out the new releases and stuff. But I'm pretty sure from looking at the flyer, they were going to have Hellfest as well as mid-90s. But if any of you guys did check Target today, though, in the comments below, though, just post below, the stuff that you guys saw new release-wise, though. But in here, though, they actually have this one I was talking about, The Greasy Strangler, director's new film here, An Evening with Beverly, Luff, Linn. That one's $16.99. But like I said, I actually ordered that one off of Amazon just because I wasn't sure if they were going to have any. And then Hellfest here is $19.99 for the Blu-ray, $24.99 for the 4K, and they have mid-90s here on Blu-ray, and that one is $17.99 for the Blu-ray of that one. Right in here, though, in the actual section, they have Castle Rock here as well, the Blu-ray of that, and that one's $22.99. I don't see the 4K of that one anywhere, unless it's in a different spot in here, and they have Hellfest over here as well. But other than that, though, don't see anything else in here really too different today, though. So anyway, though, guys, that's all for my DVD Blu-ray Tuesday shopping video today. Like I always say, if you guys enjoy these shopping videos, definitely give this video a thumbs up. Also, in the comments below, let me know, what you guys picked up on DVD, Blu-ray, or 4K, if you guys picked up anything today, as well as let me know as well what you guys thought of all the DVDs and Blu-rays that I'm going to review at the end of this video. But anyway, though, guys, now stay tuned for the brand new DVD and Blu-ray reviews. Now, before we get to the reviews, I just got sent this package from the guys at Rooster Teeth Productions, so I'm going to do a little unboxing of this. This is to promote the brand new Blu-ray release here, Blu-ray DVD combo release of Red vs. Blue, the Shisno Paradox here. And this, like I said, is now on DVD and Blu-ray. And in this combo pack here, I'll show you guys what's inside of here. There's a Red vs. Blue hat here. And you know me, I always wear hats, so that's cool. That's in here, as well as a it's like a backpack here, kind of like the characters wear in the Red vs. Blue series, and it has like their colors on the back of that as well. So that's really cool. And also in here too is a Red vs. Blue keychain here, as well as, let's see, what is this thing? This is like some kind of like plate. I'll open these things up. Yeah, these are sort of like license plate almost. Sort of, that's what they're sort of like. These cool like license plate things you can put up on the wall. Blood Gulch here, and they're all done like in like kind of like 50s kind of style or so. And then this one here for Outpost 17. These are actually really cool. And then this one here for Sidewinder. And also in here, this has their logo, Rooster Teeth. And they made a movie too that I really liked called, I think it was Bloodfest, which was a cool horror film. And in here, this is like a red versus blue kind of like wallet, where you can put like your credit cards in there. So that's really cool. Like I said, just want to give you guys a little unboxing of stuff they got, that they sent over to promote the red versus blue Shisno paradox here. So now over to the reviews. And the first one I got here was from Arrow Video, and this is one, when I heard that Arrow Video was releasing this, I was so excited, because this is one of these movies, I've loved this movie ever since I was a kid. I remember seeing this movie in theaters, and like obsessively loving this movie, and it's just like, there's something about this, I just love this movie so much. And this film here is the movie that stars Kevin Costner, and this is Waterworld, and like, I know when this was released, it kind of had like mixed opinions and everything like that, but to me, everything about this movie I love. But if you guys don't know the movie, it's essentially, though, the polar ice caps had melted, and the entire world, the entire planet is covered with water. And it's like, water too, since it's all salt water, nobody can drink the water. So there's all kind of stuff in here like, people have to like filter their own urine and stuff and re-drink it. And it's like, they trade like shells as currency and paper, and like, essentially, though, this is about Kevin Costner's character who goes around his boat, and he's kind of like has like these deformities where he has like these gills behind his ears, and there's like some things about him that are a little different, but he goes around kind of trading and kind of doing things on his boat, and he's a real loner character and doesn't really like anybody or want to talk to anybody. And the big myth is that somewhere on this earth, though, there is somewhere that is not flooded, and there's somewhere where there's some dry land. And it's like this one girl, they believe that she has like the map to where it is. So Dennis Hopper's character, who's like the bad guy in this movie, he's trying to find this and try and track down this girl. And Kevin Costner's character, when he comes to the one trading post, he ends up helping this girl and her mother, the woman who's taking care of her. And it's essentially like this whole thing about him trying to help them, and then Dennis Hopper's character coming after them. Now this edition, though, I'm going to show you guys inside and everything, but it's a really, really cool thing here. It's a 3-disc edition, and that's the 2 discs in here. Disc 2 and disc 3 are the limited edition exclusive ones, so they're only going to be available in this edition here. Now disc 2 has the TV cut. The TV cut aired years back on TV, and it's 40 minutes longer. And it also like censors out like some of the bad language and like some of the stuff that's like is like blurred out and changed and stuff like that. But it has like extended scenes and a bunch more backstory and everything. But then disc 3 has the Ulysses cut, which is basically a combination of the theatrical cut and then the TV cut, and it's taking out like any of the stuff that was censored for the TV cut that's been restored for that edition. So that's really cool that they restored it all together. And like I will say too, the transfers on these are amazing. It looks so good. There's such great transfers on this film. It's just such a fun movie. It's essentially, though, it has like the vibe of like Mad Max. That's what it kind of has, is like, and there's like some great features on here too. There's a I think it's like an hour-and-a-half documentary with like the director and the writers and like the original writer who came up with the concept, talking about how he was trying to do this movie for years, and originally it was going to be like a super, super low-budget movie, and then how it ended up becoming like this huge thing, and like they talking about the sets they had to make and how they would had to like tow them out into the middle of the ocean, because a lot of the stuff they had to have there where you could see nothing in the background, because like nowadays they would like in the computer like erase stuff that you couldn't see, like if you saw land and everything, but back then a lot of this stuff was done practical. But it's a really, really great documentary with everybody talking about the making of it, all the people behind the scenes and everything, and like kind of like some of the weird stuff that happened behind the scenes as well. But such a great movie. And I'll show you guys inside of here, though. But also in here, though, like I said, it has the feature-length documentary. It has an archival featurette on here. It has on here the original theatrical trailers, TV spots. But inside, though, there's a bunch of different stuff. There's a poster which has the it's a double-sided poster which has the original poster artwork here, which is the one I always remember as a kid, this original poster, as well as the brand new image, which is the new commissioned artwork, which is on the front cover as well. It's also in here a booklet which has like a lot of kind of like facts about the movie and everything, but also like some production like designs of the look of the characters and everything. And in the documentary too, they talk a lot about the original looks and how things changed and all that throughout the years of the pre-production, how long they've been working on it. Also has stuff in here about like the video game, which I totally forgot that there was a video game for this movie. And also inside of here as well, there is some lobby cards as well, and they all have on the back the original poster, as well as like lobby cards from the movie and everything. The one character in here though that I obsess about, and I even met him at a convention and was telling him about like how that line that he has, like the paper line, is like my favorite line in film history, or one of my favorite lines ever. It was Kim Coates' character, and he is in, he's like a character actor who's been in Sons of Anarchy and was also in Carpool and tons of stuff like Goon and everything. But he's like one of the characters that they come across when they're trying to trade. He comes to their boat and everything, and he's like, I have already a special trade. He's like, have you ever seen paper? Paper, take a look at it. Smell it. Paper. Paper for the women. It's special trade. It's favorite for the special trade. And I was like telling him about how I love that scene. And he's like, people have always asked me to do that line, but I never do it. I'll never do it. I'll never do it again. I like to leave it as just as it was in the film, and I came up with a lot of those things on my own and improvised it. But I love that character. Like, to me, the first thing when I ever think of that movie, I always think of Kim Coates trading the paper. Now, the next one here is from Arrow Video of Arrow Academy line. Now, keep in mind, this one is a Region B locked release. This is a UK release, so you guys would have to have an all-region Blu-ray player to play this one that can play all-region discs. A Region A, B, C, or be in the UK with a Region B player. But this is a movie here starring Clive, Owen, Julianne Moore, and Michael Caine. I had not seen this movie in years, and I forgot like what an amazing film this was. This is a movie here called Children of Men. This is essentially though set in the future. I think it's 2027, and like all women have become infertile. Something has happened, and no one has had a kid in I think it's 17 years. And the youngest kid that was I think he was 20 something. Like the last kid that was born, the youngest one, had recently died. And the whole world is a mess, and people are having all kinds of fights, and there's all kinds of wars and discrepancies, and all kinds of stuff with all kinds of things have gone terribly wrong. And Clive Owen's character though is brought in because this one woman has just become pregnant, the first time in 17 years, and they have to try and get her to a safe area. And Julianne Moore kind of brings him in to try and because they together years ago were together doing riot stuff, and keep certain type of political type things together, and political protests and that kind of thing. And she knows that he can help get her to this safe area where they believe there's all this safety. And it's a sense of the whole kind of journey about trying to get her there and what they go through. And there's the way this is shot though, there's some of these scenes in here that are these huge scenes with all these extras and stuff, and explosions, and going into a building and stuff like that, and never cutting, and the scenes go for 6 minutes long. And it's amazing the way they did this. The director did an amazing job with these long scenes with no cuts. And there was one of them that almost he ended up not wanting to use because blood splattered onto the camera, and that's one of the best scenes in this whole movie. But luckily enough, the cinematographer told him to keep it because it was so good. But the director of this also went on to direct the movie. What was the other one he directed? The movie with George Clooney and Sandra Bullock. I'm blanking on what the name of that one was, but that was the other film that he directed. Gravity. That was the other film that he directed. But on here, though, it has the high definition transfer. It looks really, really good. A bunch of different, archival featurettes on here. There's on here, though, some new video appreciation by film historian Philip Kemp on the film. A new video essay from author and critic Kate Allinger exploring the themes of fertility and in the film. But some bunch of new features on here. But if you guys have never seen this movie, highly recommend you guys check this out. The next one here is from Shout Factory Scream Factory line. This is a movie that stars Charles Bronson. It's called 10 to Midnight, and I forgot what a cool movie this was. And the music in here is so cool, and it's just a crazy movie. It's a different kind of movie for Charles Bronson because it's more of a horror film. It's got it's a police drama, but then these horror slasher kind of things going on. Essentially, though, it's about this serial killer that's going around, and when he kills people, he gets totally naked, so there's no evidence or anything. And he doesn't leave any evidence on his clothes or anything. And it's always what he's doing. He's getting butt naked when he's going around on these killings, and he's essentially though, like in the beginning of this movie, you see him going to this movie theater, and then he like goes out the window and then kills this woman, you know, in this park and stuff. And Charles Bronson's character, along with his partner who he's just started working with, he's trying to track down and figure out who this killer is, and he kind of thinks he knows, and you know, he's pointing to this one guy, and like it's not like a whodunit movie where you don't know who the killer is. Like in this movie, you see the killer like doing it. It's not like a mystery of who it is or anything, but it is a really, really great slasher police drama kind of film, like kind of mixed together, but like with great locations and everything, and great music, like really cool synth music and everything. Just like a really, really intense film. Also, some of the movie too I was reading too was inspired by like the serial killer, like Richard Speck, I think it was. I think that was some of the inspiration for this character. But it is like, you know, Cannon Films also, I believe, was behind, you know, one of the company that made this movie back in, you know, when it was made, because they made a whole lot of different stuff. Like they did some of the Death Wish films with Bronson, and they'd done tons and stuff in movies. There was a really great documentary about the Cannon Films library and everything. But on here though, it has a brand new 4K scan of the film, has a commentary track on, I mean, it has interviews on here with actors Andrew Stevens, Robert F. Lyons, and Jenna Thompson, and as well as a producer. Commentary track on here with the author, as well as like archival commentary with the producer on this one, casting director, theatrical trailer, radio spot, still gallery, but a really, really great release. Looks really, really good. If you guys have never seen this one, you know, 100% worth checking out. And let me know too, like what you guys thought of it if you guys have seen it. The next one here is from Lionsgate, and it's a movie called After the Darkness. And this stars Kara Cedric, and then the one actress on here is from the Stranger Things series, the main girl in this one. This is essentially, though, something has happened in the world, and it's like, it's sort of like total darkness is coming to the world, and it's like pretty much about like this family that are going into, kind of like they're going into their own house and kind of like, you know, locking themselves sort of in there and kind of to survive, but they kind of know that like there's not going to be like supplies, and like that the sun is going to, basically the sun is going out, and that's sort of what it is. And it's kind of also like this mystery too of like what is going on outside of the house, and like is there something weird happening. But it's essentially though all about this family sort of trying to survive, and then the degree of them having like disagreements with each other and all sorts of kind of problems together, and like the one like doesn't want to be in there. The main actor in here, the father, was from the movie one of my favorite movies. It was like, it's a real rare, hard movie to find, but he's also been in some TV and a bunch of stuff, but he was in Dr. Jekyll and Mrs. Hyde, but he was the main actor. I believe it's Tim Daly, you know, and he's been in lots of stuff throughout the years, but always been a fan of him, and he plays the father in this. And, you know, Kara Cedric is always really good as well, but it's essentially, like I said, all about the world is going dark because of some reason. You find out more about what's going on. It's essentially just like a dramatic drama, kind of horror kind of vibe about like this family and like kind of what's going on out there. Next one here is from Lionsgate as well. This movie stars John Travolta. This is actually based on a true story here, a true character and everything. And this is basically, it's called Speed Kills. And this is basically though about John Travolta's character, who is someone who like becomes like very popular with like racing these like super fast speedboats, and he like becomes kind of like in the front runner of like being like the most known for these, like, you know, being kind of always winning these races. And he also kind of like he like sort of sells the speedboats and kind of like promotes them, and is kind of becomes like the face of like super fast speedboats and everything. But there's like he kind of has gone and like avoided his family because he comes from like a family that deals with kind of like mafia kind of ties and everything, and he's sort of not doing what he's supposed to be doing because he's kind of putting all of his time into these speedboats and these racing. It's like, and right in the beginning of this movie too, you see somebody come like to try and kill him and try and take him out when in his like speedboat shop. Then it kind of cuts back to like different times in his life. But essentially though, these speedboats though are being used, you know, for like, there's something that he's doing with these involving drugs with the speedboat. So there's like kind of like the police are involved, and it's like a whole big thing about this guy's life. And what he's up to, and like his speedboat empire and these races and the kind of people coming after him. It's actually a pretty interesting movie here. But on here, like I said, this one here is called Speed Kills. Also, one really cool thing I want to show you guys was, like I mentioned today, one of the things that released today was mid-90s. Lionsgate sent over this really cool promo item here for mid-90s, which is a like tech deck style mini skateboard here, and it has like all the trucks and the wheels and everything on here, and it has like the grip tape on the back that says mid-90s, and it's in this really cool case and everything. But I just want to show you guys this one thing, just a really cool promo item they sent over to promote the mid-90s, which like I mentioned, released on DVD and Blu-ray today. The next one here is from Universal, and this is the new Halloween film. This is Halloween. Basically, what this Halloween film is taking all the Halloween sequels out of the equation. So this is technically the official, or being called the official Halloween 2. So basically all the other sequels that came after the original Halloween film, John Carpenter's Halloween, were basically, being, deleted essentially. And this one is officially the follow-up to Jamie Lee Curtis's character, and what ends up happening to her, like in the very beginning, the end of the original film, when she tries to kill Michael Myers and what ends up happening. And it's like her, years later, and it's like 40 years later, and it's her character, and she now has this kid. It's like who was like grown now and has her own kids, and her character is essentially like has all sorts of trauma from the events of the original film and what she went through, and she's like petrified, and she's always kind of planning for if Michael Myers ever comes back and when he could come back, because in this one, of course, he was put away in the insane asylum. And the very beginning of this movie, though, you see he's like, it's going to be he's going to be transferred to a new location, and of course that's not going to be a good thing. And it's essentially about him coming back for her, and it's also dealing with too like these reporters who are trying to like talk to him about the killings and everything, and it has that kind of plot as well. This is from the director who did like Killer Joe, and he directed, David Gordon Green, he directed the movie Killer Joe. He directed, like, I think the second half of the show, Vice Principals, a bunch of different stuff. Always really like the stuff that he does. And it's a really interesting way, like I said, to kind of, make the series sort of start over again, the sequels and stuff. It'd be interesting to see if they do more of these films. But I actually really liked it. I thought it was a really good, technically official sequel, or that's how where they're promoting it as the official sequel, like I said, without talking about any of the other films as if they, didn't exist. But on here, though, it has a bunch of different features. It has on here deleted and extended scenes, has a bunch of different featurettes on, talking, the original Scream Queen, Jamie Lee Curtis, on here kind of talking about the film, some round table stuff with the, producers and stuff like that, and stuff on here about the music and everything, because John Carpenter came back with his son, do the music and everything in the movie, but definitely worth checking out for sure. Really did like this one a lot. And the next one I got here is from Sony. Now, they sent over this really cool review copy exclusive slipcover. This is not a slipcover that's in any stores or anything, but since this is a review copy, this is an exclusive slipcover for the review copy, and it's done like a VHS style. It's got on there like the number at the top, like it says like 2205, like in a video rental store they have like the number, and then that's how you find the disc and everything. Has it on the side, it says VHS, has a thing on here that says 7-day rental, the thing on the bottom like some tape, and then look at the back. But a really cool exclusive slipcover for this review copy. But the standard cover, this is the standard cover, and then it will have a slipcover if you guys get it in stores and everything. We'll have this as the cover that is on the slipcover. I don't know if, down the line, they'll do like a VHS slipcover that's available in stores or anything, but like I said, that one's not one you guys can, get anywhere. That was just, since it was a review copy, they put a really cool exclusive thing for it. But if you guys have not seen this movie, highly recommend you guys check this one out. I saw this one in theaters as well. Really, really love this movie. It's based on a true story about this kid who ends up, it stars Matthew McConaughey. It's about his son, who is kind of like doing some he's like stealing pipes and stuff like that from like abandoned houses and stuff, and stealing like wiring and stuff to kind of, make money. Matthew McConaughey's character, who's his father in the film, he's trying to open up this video rental store, and it's right around the time, this is set in the 80s, so around the time when like right before like Blockbusters and stuff like that had become like the big thing. There was much more like mom and pop video stores, and he has a big dream of opening up this video rental store, and he has all these like videotapes in the house and stuff, kind of trying to get ready. And the son is like, stealing this stuff to try and, make some money, and he kind of starts to kind of get mixed up with the wrong kind of people. And what ends up happening though is the police say to him, you're going to go to prison, and your father is going to get in all kind of trouble because of certain things that he's doing. And his sister in this movie, his sister, she's like has all kind of drug problems and everything. But essentially though, this kid ends up becoming an informant for the cops when he kind of goes and they give him money to buy drugs, and he's trying to kind of infiltrate like the drug thing and what's going on and everything. But what ends up happening though is like he starts like selling drugs on his own and making all this other money, and it's all kind of like what goes on and what this kid becoming this like drug empire and everything, and become like, it's kind of like, if you know the whole story, you kind of know what happens and everything, and it's like really crazy, but really, really, really well done movie. It has on here though deleted scenes, a making of on here, the unknown true story of Ricky Wurst Jr., about the real person that this is based on, as well as the Three Tribes of Detroit, talking about the cast, and a bunch of other featurettes as well in this one. But like I said, this is one I would highly recommend you guys check this one out. Really, really love this one. And the next one here is from Wellgo USA. It's a movie called Jonathan, which stars Ansel Elgort. And this is basically, though, it's an interesting movie. It's about this Ansel Elgort's character who has two personalities, but it's not like two different personalities. It's actually like inside of his body, there's two different actual people. And he has this kind of thing on his neck where like it kind of makes it so they can both be existing but at different times. So like from like the morning hours, it's the one character, and then who like has a job and goes out and works and everything. But then from the evening hours, it's his brother, the whole other personality, a whole other person, so they have no connection to each other. They're not like a split personality disorder. These are actually two different people in the same body. So they basically, though, leave each other videos to tell each other kind of like what they did, because they don't want the world to know that there's actually two people inside the same body. And like they leave each other messages saying, oh, today I went out and did this, and I helped your neighbor do this, helped our neighbor do this, so that's why she might be talking to you today. And the woman at work, I'm starting to talk to her, and maybe we might start dating. And it's like all these kind of things, but there becomes a big problem because the character at the night version, night personality or night person, the night Jonathan, is starting to see somebody, and then the day Jonathan or John doesn't know about this, and he starts to find out about it, and he wants to see this person, and it kind of like essentially this one girl ends up messing things up, and things start to fall apart, and little by little this they start to kind of not talking to each other and stuff. And it's a really interesting kind of take on something. I've never seen a movie like this before, where it's like I said, it's two totally different people. You only see this movie from the perspective, though, of the daytime character. So you're kind of left in the dark of what he's doing. You only know what from the messages and everything. But it's definitely a very, very interesting movie here. Highly recommend you guys check this one out. The next one's here. I have a link where you guys can order these ones for the best price. But this one, and this is from Sony though. I was so excited when this was coming out. Like, this is one of my favorite movies. As a kid, I watched this movie so many times. This is one of these movies I probably watch at least once a year, if not more. And it's like one of my favorite John Ritter movies ever, and probably one of like my top 20 movies of all time. I just love this movie, and like I love movies like this. And every time I see like a really weird TV show on like a strange station, I think like, oh yeah, that like especially peculiar things. I think, yeah, this is like a real Stay Tuned network kind of show. This is the movie here, Stay Tuned. And this is basically, though, about John Ritter's character, who is obsessed with TV. He's always watching TV. He's like ignoring the family. He's not talking to his wife. All he wants to do is just sit around and watch TV. And the one day, Jeffrey Jones's character, who is like this TV salesman kind of guy for like a dish, like a huge satellite dish, comes by and says, Mr. Nabel, I can help all your dreams come true with my, dish network thing. And it's like he has this dish, and he's like, there's thousands of channels, all the kind of channels you could ever dream of, and all this kind of stuff. It's all these weird shows and everything. And of course, though, he's like, oh, I'd like this. And they put this dish in. And of course, though, John Ritter's character ends up, and his wife, because she's like arguing with him because she's mad that he bought this dish. They both get sucked into the TV, and it's basically them trying to survive inside these crazy, insane, nuts TV shows, and it's like them, you know, going from show to show and changing the channel and stuff and trying to survive and figure out how they're going to get out of this TV. And it's just, and it's an amazing movie. Eugene Levy is in this movie as well. And it's just like, it's one of these things you guys have got to watch. And like, they go into music videos, they go into cartoons, they go into all kinds of stuff, these crazy wrestling matches, this weird takeoff on Wayne's World, which is Dwayne's Underworld. But highly recommend you guys see it. You know, check this one out if you guys have not seen it. It is absolute 100% positive must-watch movie. The next one here is from Sony as well. And like I said, I have a link for all these ones where you guys can order these for the best price. But this one is a movie here called Where the Day Takes You. This has everybody in this movie. This has like Sean Astin, Laura Flynn Boyle, Ricky Lake, Dermot Mulroney is the star of this movie. Will Smith. This is Will Smith's first film. And also, Kristen Slater has like one scene in this movie. David Arquette's in this movie. I think it was David Arquette's first movie. It's essentially, though, like I said, this is called Where the Day Takes You. It's essentially, though, about all these kids who are living out, these teenagers living out on the street, and it's all mainly from the perspective of Dermot Mulroney's character, and he's talking to this kind of, he just recently got out of prison, he's talking to this sort of like doctor therapist woman about like his life and what he does in the streets and how he kind of survives and stuff, and how he has this whole family of friends and they all live on the streets. And Sean Astin's character has a huge problem with drugs, and then, like, the one is, like, prostituting himself and everything. It's like they all have these kind of problems, but they're all kind of sticking together and kind of helping each other and living under this bridge and stuff. And it's essentially, though, all the stuff they go through. And Dermot Mulroney's character meets Laura Flynn Boyle, who's kind of come into town and left her family because of things going on in her life. And they sort of start to have a relationship. But essentially, though, things start to go bad because of something that happens. This is one of these movies, though, like, when it was over, I was so sad and, like, upset, and, like, it was really sad. And it was like, especially one thing that happens, well, two characters. It was just such a sad movie, but it was so good. And Melissa Etheridge had a whole bunch of songs in here. I don't think they were originals for the movie itself that she, you know, composed and put together for the movie, but they were really well used of her music. But this is one of these things, I never knew this existed, but so glad I watched it. But it is just a very, very emotional movie. And, like, be prepared. It's very emotional. This one here is from the Warner Archive. They sent over a free copy of this one to let you guys know about. But this one, I'll have a link as well where you guys can order this. This is another movie that I've always really liked. It's a really underrated film called Judgment Night, which stars Emilio Estevez, Cuba Gooding Jr., Dennis Leary, as well as Jeremy Piven is in here. And this is essentially, though, about a group of these friends who are all, you know, Emilio Estevez's character has recently had a baby, so, like, his wife had a baby, and, you know, he hasn't really gone out of the house in a long time, and, you know, Jeremy Piven's character is like, we got to get together, we got to do stuff. So all these guys are getting together. They haven't seen each other in a long time because of the baby, which recently came. And Jeremy Piven's character has rented out this huge, like kind of like RV, but like party bus RV that he kind of is like saying that he's showing to clients. That's how he was able to rent it. But they're all planning to take this RV to go to this big boxing match. But of course, though, there's all this traffic along the way, and also Stephen Dorff is in this movie too, playing Emilio Estevez's younger brother. But they get into all this traffic, and they're starting to miss the game and everything. So, like, oh, let's take the back road, and that probably can get us around back onto the freeway and get around some of the stuff. But of course, though, they end up in this bad neighborhood. And then they end up witnessing this person, you know, they end up hitting someone with their car and trying to help him, but then that person ends up getting killed by Dennis Leary. This is very early in the movie, and it's essentially about these guys trying to survive because Dennis Leary's like, no witnesses. So him and all of his, like, the guys that work for him and everything are kind of coming after them, and it's kind of them trying to hide out and get away and everything. It is an intense movie, but definitely I highly recommend, you know, you guys check this one out. Some really cool stuff here. The next one here is from Warner Archive as well. They sent over a free copy of this one as well. And this is Perfect Strangers, the complete 6th season. I think there's 2 more seasons of this, and then all the seasons will have been released, I'm pretty sure. I always liked this show. This is a show that was on the TGIF network, you know, along with Step by Step, which they've been releasing as well. You know, the Warner Archive as well. and I think they released up to season 3 of that, as well as, you know, Family Matters, Full House. All those ones were part of the TGIF lineup. And this also was a show that actually was the show where Harriet Winslow's character was originally on that, and that's how Family Matters came to be. Like, 'cause Family Matters was technically a spin-off of this show. This is essentially, though, about these two cousins living together, and they work together, and they have all sort of kind of problems, and like the one is from another country, and they're all kind of like, they end up having like relationship problems and work problems, and the one is like, this one is like seeing this one woman and thinking about getting married, and it's all sort of kind of problems in their life, and like wacky occurrences and situations they find each other in. It's just such a really, really fun show. Like I said, so glad that these have all been getting released from the Warner Archive. This one here, I just finished watching this, and this is from the Red Hound films. And this company also released a movie I really liked recently called The Farm, which is one I highly recommend you guys check out as well. This one is called Cannibals and Carpet Fitters. And this is basically, though, about this family of these cannibals living in this kind of like castle-like house, and the mother kind of takes care of all of them, and anyone that kind of comes by, they like kill them and eat them, and there's like crazy over-the-top gore effects and everything. But essentially, though, this carpet company got this big job at the castle, with like this kind of castle house, to put down carpet for this house with little they know it's like this woman with all of her kids that are all cannibals. So they get there, and it's like the two people that get there, and they end up getting attacked and stuff, and it's the other two guys coming there as well. They're kind of like lost and stuff, and they're kind of like Nick Frost and Simon Pegg kind of guys, like, you know, like Shaun of the Dead kind of characters a little bit, the way they're acting and everything. I don't know, they were really funny, these two guys in this. But essentially, though, they end up finding themselves, you know, dealing with all these cannibals and trying to survive and stuff, and it's just a crazy, you know, situation they get into and everything. Has on here, though, it has never before seen footage, bloopers on here, exclusive music video on this one, but this is a really fun, like, super crazy film here. And the next one here is from Freestyle Releasing, and I have a link as well for where you guys can order this one. All the ones are from moviezing.com, though. That's the website. But this one is called Killer Kate. And this is a movie, Tiffany Shepis is in this movie. It's essentially, though, about this whole family of these, like, people that are kind of, these group of these people are kind of planning on like this big kill. They're like all talking about like, oh, we're gonna do this, we're gonna kill this girl, and we're gonna do this, and there's gonna be all these people we're gonna kill and all this stuff that are coming to this house, and they're all like kind of planning for it and everything. But it's essentially, though, about a group of these friends that are coming together for this bachelorette party, and they're kind of going to stay in this house that they rented on like an Airbnb kind of like app kind of thing. So they get there, and they're there kind of like dealing with their own kind of problems, and, you know, all their sort of situation, you find out about all that kind of stuff. But it's essentially, though, them, you know, of course, wandering in there to these people there who are planning on trying to kill them, and these weird types and everything, and it's them trying to survive and stuff. A lot of these people are kind of coming after them and figuring out what they're going to do and everything. Just a really, really crazy, like, intense movie. The next one here is from Virgil Films. This is a documentary here called I Am Paul Walker. And this is on, you know, Paul Walker, you know, who passed away. You know, he was in the terrible car accident. And I think it was 2013. I'm pretty sure that's when it happened. But this is a really well done documentary because it goes and talks to his family, his parents, his brothers. Tyrese Gibson, you know, who was in the Fast and Furious films with him. He's in here talking about him, and it's all kind of talking about his life and kind of how he started and the kind of early films that he was in, like the commercials and everything, and then how he, like, you know, and there's all this kind of stuff too I didn't know about him really being into surfing, and anytime that he wasn't shooting, he was traveling, and he was taking his younger brother with him to these islands and all these kind of adventures and everything. And it's also, you know, kind of about like I said, what he did, and kind of how for a while too he kind of quit acting and then did some other things, and then he got back into it, and kind of like how his career took off, and, you know, like the first big things that he got and everything. It's just a really, really well put together documentary on his life, and it's from the director. I believe the director of this did I Am Heath Ledger as well, but definitely one worth checking out. Next one here is one of you guys on. This is available from I believe this is from Skip Rope and 9 Story Media Group, and it's off. I think it's through PBS as well. This is Garfield 20 Stories, and this is a collection here of 20 Garfield episodes in here, of the shorts and stuff like that of Garfield. this is something too, I remember like as a kid, these are some of the earliest things that I remember watching, you know, when it comes to cartoons. Like I used to watch so many of these ones. I had so many of the Garfield tapes because they had like individual ones. Like one of the ones I remember watching the most was Garfield's like 9 Lives, which was kind of his character having all these different lives and everything. Because they always say how cats have 9 lives. But just a really fun thing, and definitely something too, if you guys have kids and stuff, it would be cool to show like these because they're just really classic, fun episodes. And I really think they all hold up today as well. Next one here is from Altered Innocence, and this is from the same director. It's a documentary. This is from the director who did one of my favorite movies that they released, and this is an amazing movie called Desire Will Set You Free. Like, I love that movie, but this is a documentary that he did called Queer Core, How to Punk a Revolution. This is all about kind of like the punk rock movement, but it was kind of like the gay and lesbian movement. It was sort of like the punk rock music and everything, but it was kind of like originally kind of started as kind of like these kind of anti-fashions and these like kind of like it's really hard to explain, but like the different kind of looks that they came up with and these styles and everything, because it was kind of almost like started in a way as a jokey in a way, but then ended up kind of catching on and becoming like a big movement. But this has on here though interviews with like filmmakers on here, some musicians that were popular. John Waters is in here talking about it. It has on here though bonus extended interviews in here with John Waters as well, Kim Gordon, but a really well put together documentary. This one here is from Breaking Glass Entertainment. They sent over too this hat to promote the movie as well. It has Make America Not Great Again. And this is for a movie here called Obamaland, Rise of the Trump Republicans. And this is like a parody movie. And essentially what this is like talking about if like all the things that people have said were true, like stuff about like Obama and stuff like that. And it's like if they said that he was from another country, or they were going to do this, or say, it's like all these kind of things, but it's done in this kind of insane, kind of crazy, over-the-top kind of thing, and Obama's character has become like the lifetime president forever, and like he's going to be the president, for like the lifetime president, like the first ever lifetime president. And it's essentially though like about these guys, and they have these weird beards and stuff, these long beards, and they're going around and stuff. It's like all these kind of weird characters they come across and weird things that happen to them. It's just like one of the strangest, oddest, out there things I think I've ever seen. It's kind of like a movie that Mike Judd made, Idiotland, I think, or Idiocracy. I think that's what it is. I can't remember for sure, but it's kind of like that a little bit. This has on here though deleted scenes, and the last one here is from Film Movement, and this is like I'm not sure what company this is originally. I mean, what country this is originally from. I think it's from the Czech Republic. But this is a animated film, and it's based on a book series called I think it's called like The Sock Eaters. But the movie here is called Oddsockeaters, and this is basically though about like these whole characters like these that go around and like eat socks, and they go around and like some of them like only take one sock because they leave a sock for a human, and it's like kind of like they have a whole business of like stealing socks, and they break into business to stores and stuff and eat these socks and everything. It's like really goofy, wacky stuff, but they're like stealing socks. But it's one character who had never gone out into the world, and he ends up like one reason or another he ends up leaving, and he's trying to survive on his own and figure out all this kind of stuff and how to survive and collect the socks and everything. It's like a crazy thing. It's definitely more for kids and stuff, but it's like they say on here, it's like similar to like The Borrowers. It does kind of have that vibe, but definitely I think kids would like this one. It's also in English as well. It has the English dub on this one. But anyway though guys, that's all for the review portion of this video. Thanks again for watching and subscribing, and I'll see you guys later. Bye.